We left off here just after finishing quadratic equations, and we will begin with index laws. Now, most of you know these laws, so just very quickly go through them on screen. The multiplication law where you add the indices, the division law where you subtract the indices, the power of a power where you multiply them, the zero index rule, the negative index rule, the fractional index, and then the fractional index where you take the root and then go for the power. This will be quite useful to you, the fractional index, root then power in simplification problems. And this one, a to the power 0 is equal to 1. I hope all of you know how you prove this. If not, take a moment, try to think of it, pause the video here. I hope all of you have got the proof. This is done using the division rule here. If you divide a to the power m by a to the power n, you are supposed to get a to the power m minus n. Why not check m is equal to n? If you take m is equal to n, you will obtain a to the power m divided by a to the power m is equal to a to the power m minus m. So on the left hand side you get 1, on the right hand side you get a to the power 0. This is a very simple proof, but it gets lost in the midst of all the complicated things we do. This is a simplification question, again a very basic one, so just take 30 seconds to solve it. I'll reveal the answers at the end of this page. Okay, now we move on to rational functions. In fact, I should change the title. These are not rational functions, these are mostly fractions. That makes more sense. So how to simplify fractions? Factorize the numerator and denominator, cancel the common factors. For addition and subtraction, use this formula. You know how to add and subtract fractions. But still, since this is mentioned in the syllabus, I will have to go through it once. Multiplication, division, all okay. Follow the BODMAS rule for addition and subtraction, and all of the other operations listed in BODMAS, of course. I think the US curriculum teaches MDAS, so you can follow this as well. Whichever is taught in your school, please follow that order of operations. Okay, solve this simplification question. 3 by x minus 2 minus 2 by x plus 1 plus x plus 7 by x minus 2 into x plus 1. I hope you are done with both of these problems. Let me reveal the answers. So for the first one, 8 to the power 2/3 is basically the cube root of 8 whole squared, so it is 2 square. And 4 to the power 3 by 2 is the square root of 4 cubed, which is 2 cubed. So 2 cubed into 2 square divided by 2 to the power 5, so it all cancels out and you get the answer as 1. When you simplify these, just take the LCM. Okay, I was teaching this to my students and they did it directly, so I didn't write down the steps. Alright, so if they can do it, you can also do it. I hope you got both these answers correct. Moving on, some common graphs that you need to know. Linear graphs, quadratic graphs, cubics, reciprocals, exponentials, and trigonometry. Now, exponential and trigonometric graphs, I'll do them separately in the chapter on logs, exponents, and trigonometry. Reciprocal graph, you know, it is the rectangular hyperbola. So it looks kind of like this. Cubic graph is S-shaped and it has an odd symmetry through the origin. What does that mean? It means that when you draw a cubic graph, it will be like y is equal to x square, but instead of having a symmetry here, it will go downwards there. So this is the S shape that they're talking about. So this is when A is positive. Okay, if A is negative, it will flip its direction. We can check all of these on Desmos. Yeah, you can see x cube and you can see minus x cube. See, these are just half a parabola, and then instead of completing a parabola, you have it downwards. Remember this property, it will help you in solving multiple problems, that if the leading coefficient of a cubic polynomial is positive, it starts down and goes up. If it is negative, it starts up and goes down. This will be extremely helpful in polynomial questions while deciding roots via graphs. This will be important for all you TUMA students listening in as well. Okay, there will be a few algebraic / derivative / graph based problems which will require this property if the cubic polynomial is involved. In the next part, we will be solving a question relating to inequalities. I have done inequalities in the previous part of this lecture, so if you have not seen that video, please go through it. This is the question. A system of inequalities and a graph are shown above. Which region or regions of the graph represent the set of all ordered points that satisfy the system? Let us solve. So 2y less than x means y is less than x by 2. Now x by 2 is a line passing through origin and y is less than that. So you know the convention of drawing inequalities on a graph. If the endpoints are not included, if it is not a third bracket or a less than equals to, then it is drawn via a dotted line. So that means the dotted line that I see plotted, this one, is x by 2 and y is less than it. So I have to note the region that is lesser, so below this. Alright, and then y is greater than equals to 3x plus 1. Alright, now this graph is the solid line, because I know by the convention of drawing inequalities that if it is greater than equals to or third bracket or inclusive, then the graph that is drawn has a solid line. So that means for this line, I will have to take the portion above it. So the only part that satisfies this is part Z. So region Z, that will be our answer. Option D. The most common confusion is region X and Z. Students in my class were mistaking this for the correct answer. X will not be the answer because the inequality gets flipped here. Because you're taking above x by 2 and below 3x plus 1, while it is the other way around, below x by 2 and above 3x plus 1. Alright, so Z is the correct answer. Moving on to the next problem. Calculate k belongs to natural numbers such that x square minus kx plus k plus 3 greater than 0 for all real x. Now, this is not from the portion that we have recently done. It was just a miscellaneous problem because in my class students were forgetting the older stuff. So while we were doing this inequality problem, I found this as well. So you all try to do this. So let us look into the answer. Here a is 1, so a is greater than 0 obviously. For this quadratic to be always positive, discriminant should be less than 0. Why? Now if it is always greater than 0 and it opened downwards, then it would come back and cut the x-axis, something like this. I don't want that to happen. I want it to be positive and above the x-axis floating. So that means I will not have any real solutions. That means the discriminant should be less than 0. So I place the condition k square minus 4k plus 3 less than 0. You factorize it, you will get k plus 2 into k minus 6 less than 0. Now the critical points here are minus 2 and 6. So why not test the points between minus 2 and 6? Test 0. If I plug in 0, I'll get minus 12, which is less than 0. Okay, so that means the required portion is minus 2 comma 6. You can either draw the sign diagram or use the wavy curve method, or once you have drawn enough of them, you can probably do this mentally. Okay, so the region is minus 2 to 6, and since k belong to natural numbers, you will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the correct answer. Alright, express it in form of a set. Okay, a very quick revision of simultaneous equations. Now earlier we had done simultaneous equations in a linear and a quadratic. Here we are looking into linear equations in two variables, simultaneous equations. The general format of linear equations in two variables are given by a1x plus b1y plus c1 is 0, a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. Alright, so this makes a pair of linear equations in two variables. So for unique solution, the condition is a1 by a2 not equals to b1 by b2. It will have one intersection. For infinite solutions, you have a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2. These are superimposed lines or collinear lines, and these two are known as consistent solutions. So these two cases are known as consistent solutions because consistency means your system provides at least one solution. Here you have exactly one solution and here you have infinite. Now infinite solutions also means that there is at least one solution. So that criteria gets satisfied. You have no solution when a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is not equal to c1 by c2. In this case, the graph will produce parallel lines and the solution will be inconsistent. By inconsistent, I mean that these statements do not really gel with each other. For example, if I say x plus y is equal to 5, then I say 2x plus 2y is equal to 9. That doesn't work, right? Because by this logic, 2x plus 2y should have been 10, but I am saying that this is 9. So either this is a lie or that is a lie. Therefore, the system is inconsistent. On the graph, it presents itself as parallel lines. With that being said, try this question. On a 100 centimeter ruler, lines are drawn at 10, x and 98. The distance between the lines at x and 98 is 3 times more than the distance between the lines at x and 10. What is the value of x? Since the space was short, I didn't include the options. So I hope you can solve it without the options. Take some time, try to do it. Let me reveal the answers. So the line is drawn between 10 and 98, right? So let us take the distance between 10 and x to be d and the distance between x and 98 to be 3d. Then I know that the total distance d and 3d add up to this distance between 10 and 98, which is 88. So d is 22. So x is located at 10 plus 22, which is 32. Alright, the answer is 32. Very easy problem. Two more questions. Now ESAT provides you like 1.5 minutes per question max. So take 3 minutes, solve this question. A retail store has monthly fixed costs of $3,000 and a monthly salary cost of $2,500 for each employee. If the store hires X employees for an entire year, which of the following equations represents the store's total cost in dollars for the year? Now the fixed cost is also monthly, right? So every month, what is the total amount spent? 3,000 and 2,500 for each employee. And then we multiply this by 12 for the entire year, right? Because it says monthly fixed costs. So that means 3,000 plus 2,500x into 12. B. Alright. Number 13, at a Hong Kong learning center, 1/4 of the students take debate, 1/6 take writing, and 1/8 take science. The rest take math, 33 take math. What is the total number of students? Plain and simple equation problem. So let the total number be x. So you have x minus x by 4 plus x by 6 plus x by 8 is equal to 33. So you will get x minus 24 is the LCM. So you will get 6 plus 4 plus 3, 13x by 24 is equal to 33. Do the subtraction, you will get 11x. 11x equal to 33, 11 cancels, 3x 72. Alright. So solving these shouldn't take more than 2 minutes together, which is expected in an ESAT standard. Let us look at a few common mistakes before we move on to the next part. Many students make these mistakes. Now some of these might appear quite trivial, but believe me, in the pressure of the exam, students make such weird mistakes that when they report it back to us after the exam, they themselves feel like, oh wow, how did I make this? So the first mistake is root over a square plus b square is equal to a plus b. Nope, this does not work. Square root does not distribute over addition. All right, leave it, rationalize it, whatever the problem wants. Same problem here. A plus b whole square is equal to a square plus b square. That doesn't work. 2ab term missing. A to the power m by n is equal to a to the power m by n. Yeah, so this happens when you are hurrying along a problem. All right, if you miss that a in the denominator, gone. Entire sum will be wrong. You cannot set discriminant greater than 0 for tangency. Greater than 0 means there are 2 points of intersection. Equal to 0 means the tangent touches the curve at exactly 1 point, and less than 0 means the curves do not touch. Do not reverse the inequality when dividing by a positive number. It reverses only for negative divisors and reciprocals. All right, so maintain inequality direction. This is quite important because many students make a mistake here. Reading the vertex format a into x minus h whole square plus k, if you read the vertex from here as minus h comma k, you will get a wrong answer. So x minus h whole square plus k whole square, your vertex should be h comma k. This mistake especially occurs when you have negatives in the abscissa. All right, so please be careful with it. Use the VT graph area as speed, not distance. All right, that is a very common mistake. Remember that if the entire area is in positive, that means the area will be the distance covered. If the graph spills over to the negative region, then the displacement would be the area above the x-axis minus the area below the x-axis, and for distance just add the total areas. Remember, when you solve x square is equal to k, you cannot forget plus minus. Again, a very common mistake that students make. Square root always gives two values. Cancelling terms and fractions, with that I mean if you have something like 2 plus 7 by 14, don't cancel 7 and 14. Right? This is a very basic error, but you know, in the heat of the exam, these things can happen. I'll hope that these things do not happen to you, but still they might happen. So I have included this table as a cautionary warning. Let us move into the last section. The main part of sequences and series is in M2. In M1, you just have the definitions and the two ways of writing sequence. So the term to term rule and the position to term rule. Position to term rule is the more common one, in which you are given the series in terms of n. So you are literally told that in position n, how you will write the sequence or how will it evolve up to position n. For an example, find the next two terms in the sequence. This question, t1 is equal to 3, tn plus 1 is equal to 2, tn minus 1. These are also called recursive sequence, and we will go through this in much more detail in M2. So if t1 is equal to 3, then put n is equal to 1, you will get t2 is equal to 2t1 minus 1. That is the hint. Solve this question and then I'll show you the entire solution. Okay, here is the solution. T2 is equal to, as I was saying, 2t minus 1, which means 2 into 3 minus 1 is equal to 5. T3 is equal to 2t2 minus 1, which is 2 into the previous term, 5 minus 1, which is equal to 9. Alright, now we will look into quadratic sequences. For a linear sequence, the terms increase by the same amount each time. So basically, if you have a linear sequence, by that you... Now we will learn about quadratic sequences. For a linear sequence, which means an arithmetic progression, the terms increase by the same amount each time, which is the common difference. In quadratic sequences, the terms are generated using an nth term, which is of the form that is given an square plus bn plus c. But here, the common difference is in AP. In linear sequences, the common difference was constant. In quadratic sequence, the common difference is in AP. So the common difference of the common difference will be linear. I'll show you an example. Find the nth term for 1, 10, 25, 46. How do we do this problem? Now 1, 10, 25, 46, if you take the successive differences, you will get 9, 15, 21. And if you take one more layer of difference, you will get 6 and 6. So that means it's a quadratic sequence. So I'll take the general form of an square plus bn plus c. Term 1 is given by n is equal to 1, which will give me a plus b plus c. Term 1 is 1. So note this equation, a plus b plus c is equal to 1. Term 2 is given as n equal to 2. If I plug in 2, I'll get a into 2 square plus b into 2 plus c, which is 4a plus b plus c, which is 10 here. The difference of these two terms is 9. So if you take the difference, you will get 3a plus b, which is 9. Do the same thing for term 3 and term 2. Then you will get the equation 5a plus b is equal to 15. Solve these equations and you will end up with a is equal to 3. So once you have a is equal to 3, plug that in here, you will get b is equal to 0. Once you obtain b is equal to 0, plug that in here, you will get the value of c as minus 2. So the entire quadratic sequence is generated from 3n square minus 2. Now these problems are a bit tricky in the exam, not because they are difficult, but because they are a bit time consuming. You have to solve a set of linear equations. I'll leave you with one sum as homework. Solve this, time yourself, and do leave your answers in the comment section. Thank you all for joining. I hope you learned something in the second part of the algebra video. This completes the ESAT M1 algebra syllabus. If you need any help with any other chapter, please check the link in the description. You can book a one-on-one class with me and get your concepts cleared. If you want to practice more such questions, do check the Amazon links that I have in the description. You will find all my books there. I have compiled them with great care and I think they will help you in your ESAT journey. With that being said, thank you all for joining. I hope you learned something and you were solving along. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Take care.